What I'm about to show you will completely change the way you look at modern coins forever. Right now, sitting in someone's drawer or piggy bank, there's a South African 5 Rand coin from 1994 that recently sold for more money than most people earn in an entire year. I'm not talking about ancient gold coins or rare medieval currency. I'm talking about a coin that's barely 30 years old, a coin that millions of people handled without realizing they were holding a potential gold mine. Before this video ends, you'll know exactly what to look for, and trust me, you'll be checking every coin you own tonight. The year 1994 stands as one of the most significant moments in modern history. South Africa held its first democratic elections, ending decades of apartheid and ushering in a new era of hope and freedom. Nelson Mandela became president in a moment that captured the world's attention and changed the course of an entire nation. To commemorate this monumental event, the South African Mint produced something extraordinary, the Inauguration 5 Rand coin. This wasn't just currency meant for buying groceries or paying bills. This was a statement, a celebration, a piece of history frozen in metal that people could hold in their hands. The coin itself is stunning in its design and symbolism. On the obverse side, you'll find the denomination R5 prominently displayed, surrounded by the words South Africa in multiple official languages, reflecting the nation's incredible diversity. The reverse side features powerful imagery celebrating the new democracy, with intricate details that tell the story of a country being reborn. The craftsmanship is exceptional, utilizing advanced minting techniques that create sharp, clear images with remarkable depth and detail. When you hold an uncirculated example under proper lighting, the coin seems to glow with an almost ethereal quality. But here's where things get absolutely insane. The South African Mint produced these coins in different versions, and understanding the differences could mean the gap between pocket change and serious wealth. They released standard circulation coins meant for everyday use, but they also created special collector versions with proof finishes, different metal compositions, and limited mintage numbers. Some versions were struck in standard cupro nickel, while others were produced in sterling silver or even pure gold. The gold versions, particularly those in the highest proof grades, have reached auction prices that would make your head spin. One particular gold-proof version, graded PR70 by a major authentication service, sold at an international auction for over $80,000. Let me repeat that. $80,000 for a single coin from 1994. The buyer was a private collector from Asia who competed against multiple bidders in a tense auction that lasted nearly 15 minutes. When the hammer finally fell, the numismatic world took notice. This wasn't just an isolated incident either. Multiple examples of high-grade 1994 inauguration coins have sold for 5-figure and 6-figure sums over the past several years. What makes certain examples so extraordinarily valuable? It starts with the metal content. The gold versions were produced in very limited quantities, with some sources suggesting fewer than 2,000 were ever minted. Compare that to modern commemorative coins that get produced in quantities of 50,000 or more, and you begin to understand the rarity factor. These gold proofs weren't sold at banks or post offices. They were offered through specialized channels, marketed to serious collectors and investors who understood their potential significance. The condition is another crucial factor that separates valuable coins from merely interesting ones. Most of the 1994 inauguration coins that entered circulation got spent, handled, dropped, scratched, and worn down. They picked up bag marks during production, contact marks from other coins, and environmental damage from exposure to air and moisture. But a small percentage were carefully preserved from the moment they left the mint. These pristine examples, never touched by human hands, stored in protective capsules under ideal conditions, represent the absolute peak of what's available in the market. Grading these coins requires incredible expertise and specialized equipment. Professional graders examine the surfaces under high-powered magnification, looking for any imperfections that might lower the grade. They check for hairlines, marks, spots, discoloration, and striking weakness. They evaluate the eye appeal, considering how the coin presents itself overall. A coin might be technically flawless, but lack the visual impact that collectors desire, or conversely, it might have a minor imperfection that's overshadowed by spectacular luster and eye appeal. Getting that perfect PR70 or MS70 grade requires everything to align perfectly. The market dynamics surrounding these coins have evolved dramatically over the years. Initially, many collectors viewed them as commemorative pieces with moderate collector interest. Values were reasonable, and acquiring examples wasn't particularly difficult. But as the historical significance of 1994 became more apparent with the passage of time, and as Nelson Mandela's legacy grew even larger in the global consciousness, demand began to surge. International collectors, particularly those interested in world history and political memorabilia, started competing for the finest examples. There are also variations and errors that multiply value exponentially. Some 1994 inauguration coins exhibit striking differences, die varieties, or production anomalies that make them unique. Doubled lettering, off-center strikes, wrong planchet errors, and other minting mistakes transform standard coins into numismatic treasures. A wrong planchet error, where a coin gets struck on metal intended for a different denomination, can be worth tens of thousands of dollars regardless of the design. When you combine an already significant commemorative issue with a dramatic minting error, you create something that major collectors will pay almost any price to acquire. Authentication is absolutely critical in this market because the stakes are so high. Counterfeiters have produced fake 1994 inauguration coins, some of which are sophisticated enough to deceive inexperienced buyers. These fakes typically target the most valuable versions, particularly the gold proofs and high-grade examples. Reputable third-party grading services like NGC, PCGS, and SANGS use advanced technology including microscopic analysis, metal composition testing, and die characteristic verification to separate genuine coins from counterfeits. Never purchase an expensive example without proper authentication from a recognized authority. The stories of discovery surrounding these coins are absolutely fascinating. There was an incident a few years ago where someone inherited a small collection from an uncle who had worked at the South African Mint during the 1990s. Among the items was an unopened presentation case containing a complete set of 1994 inauguration coins in the finest proof grades. The inheritor had no idea what they had and nearly donated everything to a charity shop. Fortunately, they mentioned the collection to a friend who happened to know a coin dealer. After authentication and grading, that presentation case turned out to be worth over $120,000. One casual conversation changed someone's financial future forever. These types of discoveries occur more frequently than most people realize. Coins get purchased as investments and then forgotten. They're given as gifts to children who don't understand their significance. They're stored in safe deposit boxes by people who pass away without telling anyone about them. Decades later, someone cleaning out an estate stumbles upon these treasures and faces a choice: throw them away, spend them at face value, or investigate whether they might be valuable. The people who choose to investigate are the ones who sometimes discover they've won the lottery. Investment potential remains strong for high-quality examples of the 1994 inauguration coin. Market analysts who specialize in world coins consistently rank this issue among the top modern commemoratives for long-term appreciation. The combination of historical significance, limited mintage, strong international demand, and the prestige associated with Nelson Mandela's legacy creates a perfect storm for continued value growth. Experts predict that as we move further away from 1994 and as fewer pristine examples remain available, prices will continue climbing steadily. But you don't need the rarest gold proof to have something valuable. Even the standard circulation versions in top uncirculated condition command premiums well above face value. A roll of uncirculated 1994 Inauguration 5 Rand coins, never spent or handled, recently sold for over $3,000. Individual coins in MS-67 or higher grades regularly bring several $100s each. If you have access to coins from this era, especially if they were saved by someone who recognized their potential significance at the time, you need to have them examined professionally. The psychological impact of discovering a valuable coin cannot be overstated. Imagine sorting through old belongings and suddenly realizing you're holding something worth more than your car, maybe even enough to pay off debts, fund education, or change your financial trajectory entirely. These moments happen in the coin collecting world with surprising regularity. They happen to ordinary people who aren't collectors, people who simply inherited items or saved coins without knowing their true potential. The knowledge shared in videos like this one empowers people to recognize these opportunities before they're lost forever. Preservation techniques matter enormously once you've identified a potentially valuable coin. Never attempt to clean it, as even gentle cleaning destroys the original surface and obliterates value. Handle coins only by their edges, never touching the face or back where oils from your skin cause permanent damage. Store them in appropriate holders designed specifically for coins, away from humidity, temperature extremes, and contaminants. If you suspect you have something valuable, minimize handling and seek professional evaluation as quickly as possible. The difference between proper care and negligent handling can literally be worth thousands of dollars. The global nature of the market means your location doesn't limit selling opportunities. Major auction houses conduct online sales that attract bidders from every continent. Specialized dealers maintain active want lists for specific coins and will pay premium prices to acquire inventory their clients desire. The 1994 Inauguration Coin has particular appeal in markets where Nelson Mandela is revered as a symbol of freedom and human rights, which includes virtually every developed nation on Earth. This broad international demand provides liquidity and ensures strong prices for quality material. Looking forward, the outlook for these coins remains exceptionally bright. As Nelson Mandela's place in history becomes even more firmly established, and as the 1994 election recedes further into the past, the coins commemorating that moment will only become more significant and more sought after. They represent a tangible connection to one of the 20th century's most important events, a physical artifact that future generations will treasure. Museums, institutional collections, and serious private collectors will continue competing for the finest examples, ensuring that prices remain strong and continue appreciating over time. The lesson here extends beyond just the 1994 Inauguration Coin. Modern commemorative coins, particularly those marking genuinely significant historical events and produced with limited mintages, deserve serious consideration as collectibles and investments. The day they're released, they might seem commonplace or unimportant. But given time, as history judges the events they commemorate and as attrition reduces the supply of pristine examples, values can explode in ways that nobody anticipated. If this information has amazed you, if you're now looking at modern coins differently and wondering what treasures might be hiding in your own collection or family belongings, you need to share this video immediately. Send it to relatives, friends, anyone who might have South African coins from this era. Smash that like button, because content like this requires extensive research into auction records, market trends, and numismatic history. And most importantly, subscribe to this channel right now so you never miss another video revealing the hidden fortunes that could be waiting in the coins you handle every day. Your discovery could be just one video away. And that 1994 5 Rand piece gathering dust somewhere might be your ticket to a financial windfall you never imagined possible.